Well, first of all, I want to start by thanking Glenn Fasani and Jim McVeigh and the ReliaQuest Bowl staff for the invitation. I mean, we're so excited to have this opportunity to close out a special season. I think these moments become really meaningful and emotional when you know the time and the place of your final climb, and that's what we learned today. And this group's earned the right to go play against a really strong Iowa team. Iowa, for so long, has kind of set the standard for what sustained success looks like, and in our program, that's something we're aspiring to. So there aren't a lot of coaches in the profession that garner more respect than Kirk Ferentz. I'm looking forward to being able to compete against his team and spend a little time with him in the process. And we're like I said, really excited and grateful for the opportunity.
Coach, sorry.
Yep, we'll start in the back. That's okay.
We just learned Notre Dame declined their bowl bid. Was there any thought to that going on here at Vanderbilt today?
No, I mean, I can't speak to their process, but we love playing football here, and to realize that we get a chance to close out a special season with a special group of players on a great bowl stage in a great city against a really, really tough opponent. I mean, as a football fan, as a football coach, as a football person, it's hard not to get excited about that. So there was no way that we were going to end this story early, and I'm so excited to be taking this team down to Tampa. And I got a chance to spend, I think, like 23 days or so with them. We're going to soak up every one of those days. So looking forward to that.
Aria?
Are you expecting specifically Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers to play in this bowl game?
I am, yeah. I mean, I don't have any reason not to. And, obviously they've got great futures ahead of them, but they're also great competitors, and that's what has made them so special here. So I anticipate them playing. I haven't had conversations to lead me otherwise.
Graham?
Yeah, Coach, do you see this game as sort of like a I told you so moment where you have a chance to sort of, I guess, prove the committee wrong and make a statement?
I mean, it's an opportunity to go play well, but I wanna stop short of, trying to prove people wrong. I think I see the game as a celebration. I want it to be about the group of guys that have come together and made for a historic and special season. And like I said, we get one more chance here together. I want to enjoy it. I want to be there for it. And it's important. Bowl games are fun, but they're more fun when you win. So this isn't going to be about how we're going to enjoy ourselves, but we need to keep mission focused here. And we talked about that today as a team, and I trust this group to do that. But we'll enjoy the moment. We won't make it about anything other than Vanderbilt football.
Teresa?
Clark, how close did it come to getting a 13th game to try to help your bid in the final rankings?
I don't know, because some of the logistics. I mean, I'm the football coach, and I was very proud of the fact that when I came in, after kind of stating publicly we'd do it, that there was actually an action plan that was taking place that came from Candace and Chancellor Diermeyer getting behind that as a possibility, and we were exploring and asking the right questions and trying to get it set up to do it. And then there were too many hurdles to clear to actually have it happen. I think it would have been one of the great stories in the history of our sport to be able to do something like that. But hey, at this point, look, we're exactly where we need to be, Teresa. I mean, I wanted to fight for this program, and when we had control at Alabama, we came up short. We didn't score. We needed another possession to finish in the end zone. And when we had a control at Texas, we needed one more stop. And there's a great lesson in that, but I just don't believe that there are mistakes. I mean, this is where we've landed, and we look around and we're so proud, and this is such a special opportunity that I would have loved the chance to play a 13th game, just because it's another opportunity to get on the field with these guys and go compete. That's what we love to do. As it is, the 13th opportunity will come on New Year's Eve in Tampa, and we're gonna celebrate that.
Lauren?
Coach, how do you reconcile with the criteria through which the field was selected now that it's official today?
I don't know that I have a great answer for that right now. The committee has a really challenging job, and I think there's going to be a lot of great conversation, constructive conversation all season. Say, how do we shape this in a form that resembles the way the game's evolved? I mean, it's hard. We're adapting systems as we move. That's challenging, and we happen to be on the wrong side of that in this moment. But that's no one's fault except for our own. We had our opportunities and we didn't do enough, and so that's we are not victims in this process. Our ownership is in coming up short. I think it's a reminder of how critical every moment is, every snap, every possession, and there's a lot to learn in this season because we want to be back in these moments. But as it is, we'll spend time in the off season trying to get the system more into focus with where the game has gone. In the meantime, we're gonna celebrate the hell out of going and playing in Tampa and having some fun together one last time.
Chris Lee?
First of all, how much heads up did you have that you're playing Iowa? And with that, if you had any chance to look into what they've got? Second, even if you haven't, as a defensive guy, I'm sure you know their defenses and stuff just from being in football. What can you tell about us if that's your base of knowledge?
Yeah, well, I've kind of, it's just, you kind of start to see where the dominoes will fall, and I knew that if we ended in Tampa, I had a good feel kind of middle of last week that it would be against Iowa. That was kind of the word that was floating around. I love the game because I think Iowa is SEC Big Ten is meaningful. The program that Kirk's built at Iowa, tough, sound, solid, simple, doing it the right way. I mean, those things matter. They're meaningful to me and to us. We're so excited and so proud to represent the SEC in this game. Like that is so meaningful to us. And as far as Iowa goes, Tim Lester is actually, he and I worked together at Syracuse back in the day. He then and now, I mean, he's such a great offensive mind and has done a great job with that offense, evolving it forward. I've not studied them enough, but I know this is going to be about a physical run game and a team that knows how to possess the ball and grind the game out. Phil Parker on defense, I mean, these guys have set the standard for, I don't know, 20, 30 years playing defense in college football. I mean, and it's not about gimmicks. This is about hard-nosed, run and hit football that is really well structured and well designed, and you can see the belief their players have as you watch the game. So obviously I've talked about Kirk Ferentz and what he's meant to our sport. So this is a really tough opponent, and we're going to need to be at our best. Now we got some time. We got to get through finals this week, and we're going to get back out in the field in the mornings to try to work back into kind of football shape. Our guys have been training and running this past week. We wanted to give them some time off away from practice to heal up. They're actually in the weight room right now attacking it together. So we'll do that this week. Obviously, we got some awards that we're going to be kind of traveling around for. And then as we turn the page on finals and award season, we'll focus kind of in earnest on game prep and have a little break for Christmas. If you guys will allow it, we'll get the team home and have some time with family, and then we'll gather back up on the 26th at the bowl site, and we'll have our work cut out for us. But again, we love the matchup, we love the game. It's going to be a celebration of where we are as a program.
We'll go in the back to channel 2.
Coach, with the way the pairings went out, or selection went Tuesday night, it kind of spelled out what your fate was going to be. Did that give you extra time to rally your guys for this bowl bid rather than have it all just crash down today?
Yeah, I mean, these guys don't need me to rally them. I think this is so, I really appreciate the question because I think it's hard sometimes to understand the inner workings of a team. I mean, I'm not going to say that it wasn't important to this group to have a chance to play for a national championship. I mean, that's something we've talked about since January 7th, but we are not entitled to anything, and we're not victimized by any process or any committee. This is about ownership over what we've created, and the opportunity we created for ourselves is to go and know exactly when our season's going to be finished, and that's December 31st in Tampa against Iowa. These guys are excited for that. They're not disappointed about it. They're not, they don't have their heads down and frustrated. I mean, we own the fact that we didn't do enough, and we celebrate the fact that we have a great stage, a great bowl, a great opponent to finish this year off, this historic year off. And we're gonna be energized. We're gonna celebrate that.
Teresa, last question to Tom.
Clark, you mentioned the award season. I think the finalists for the Heisman are announced tomorrow. You've said so much about Diego this year, but when those names come out, are you expecting at this point to hear his name on that list?
I am, yeah. And again, I mean, I don't know that anyone cares what I expect or don't expect, but I've said any number of times, he's the best player in the country from my seat. Statistically, I don't actually think it's very close in terms of what he's done throwing the ball, what he's done running the ball, what he's done in terms of the total offensive production. I think the touchdown numbers are close, but I mean he's right there at the top of that list too. If you look, so statistically, I mean he wins the award in my mind. Emotionally, he wins the award. I mean, this guy, if you watch him, particularly late in the season, just taking games over. He's had the most complete season of any player at that position that I'm aware of. I mean, just never once hit a wall, never once hit a lull. I love the fact that in our final game on the road at Tennessee, he comes back from 2 interceptions and is undaunted. I mean, it hasn't always been perfect, but that's the kind of competitor he is. So from an emotional standpoint, to me, he's the winner. And then when you look at the impact he's had on our team, that's one place that I hope there isn't, somehow he's not hurt by the fact that we didn't play yesterday and we're not, in the playoff because, I mean, it is a razor's edge, us being in and out, and this guy deserves all the attention, all the credit, all the accolades that are coming his way because, he has been such a important part of the heartbeat of our team. And so I do expect it. I don't, I'll find out tomorrow with everyone else, but in my mind, I expect to be there and I expect for him to win because I believe he's the best player in the country.
Last question, Tom.
You kind of answered this a minute ago, but in years past, this would have been a high point for Vanderbilt to be going to a bowl like this. Now this year, it's not the brass ring you were reaching for, but it's still pretty big up there. And you've talked about how you want to be part of the solution of straightening out this mess. Is it too early to talk about this, about bowl appearances and the structure of the CFP?
Well, look, the system is the system, and I spent a week. I felt like a politician last week. I was pounding the pavement for the team, and that's because I believe in this team, and I want, my job is to best position them. But so much of that too is kind of cuts against what I actually believe in, which is, you have to seize your opportunities to prove yourself. And it was clear that, we didn't do enough to get across the line. And some of that, like I said, the game at Alabama, the game at Texas, those things are in our control. Some of that is not. It's, teams that we beat that are ranked in the top 15 that then plummet out of the standings. And so to work towards a system that puts the 12 best or 16 best, hopefully, teams in at the finish, I think is really important. And I think what we've done is we've, again, gone from a BCS championship to a 14 playoff to now a 12-team playoff, and it's like you hold on to certain aspects of what was before, and you know, you start to try to think about ways, automatic bids, and how do we give room for the teams, those Cinderella stories that we all love so much, and yet, you know, you look up and you say, hey, did we really do the best we could to get 12 in? And that's not about the committee, that's about the system. You know, it's how we've designed the system. So I think we'd all agree that with where the game has gone, there's been a separation in the way the game is played, and you know, it probably leaves a little less room for some of those group of five, you know, Cinderella stories. And again, that is in no way disrespectful to the teams that'll be in James Madison, Tulane. I mean, the well coached and well deserving, you know, of opportunity. It comes at the expense of teams that have actually played through a tougher schedule to get there. The automatic bid part of this is tricky to me, and I think that'll be where a lot of our conversations, you know, exist in the off season, is what is the right way to design this so that we can year in, year out ensure that the best 12 or 16 teams are in it. Also in our conference, we've now added a ninth conference game. Well, now you've added an additional loss to eight programs in your league. There has to be kind of an awareness of those challenges that we are selecting into, and then also how we do the best we can to evolve the selection process into the playoff to account for that, right? Because we believe that this league, you know, and I said this last week, I mean, every week feels like the playoffs. So all that to say, I'm not gonna you know, improve it at this podium right now. I think what I want to speak to the first part of your question, and that is what a great opportunity for us to take a next step as a program on December 31st in Tampa against Iowa. What an opportunity and what a blessing, and how grateful are we to have this chance to represent our conference against the Big Ten, to have one final climb as a team, Team 5, that this has been so special, and we are not going to let this pass us by. You know, we're going to enjoy it. We're going to be together. We're going to have fun. We're going to make sure we keep mission focused, and you know, we want to go down and play our best game of the year on New Year's Eve. That would be a lot of fun.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.